Great awakening, lights lords, and grand rising to those who have not yet awoken. To know that to have any type of relationship, you must start with self. Now, to have a good relationship with one another or to have a great connection with a person, you must know yourself, okay? You must know your own likes, dislikes, your pet peeves. You must know how your emotions work, what types of things that may happen in your environment that will make you react a certain way. And you should critique yourself very often. And you must be able to admit what things you need to improve on. That way you can attract. That way you can attract others.
Hello.
That way you can attract others that will accept your flaws and know that you are, in a process of improving yourself. Okay? So that they may help you. It's because you're already helping yourself. So if you're not willing to help yourself, then you won't get any help, basically. So you must always start with yourself. Always critique yourself. Always, ask yourself, what do you really want? And what do you really like? And what type of people would you want to have in your life before you try to get in any type of relationship? Because when you come into this world, you're already in a relationship with yourself. That's where everything starts. So what must happen is, if you would like to have good communication with the people around you, or a good connection with the people around you, then you got to start communicating with yourself. Okay? You got to start communicating with yourself. I'm going to give 2 ways of how to do this. There's more than 2 ways, but I'm going to just address 2 in this video. The first is a mind map. Okay? Basically, you take out a sheet of paper, or you can take out your phone, your notepad, or anything, and you write down, you analyze yourself, and you write down your likes. Okay? What types of things do you like in people? What type of things do you like about yourself? Compare these things. Compare what types of things that you like in being yourself. Okay? Then write down the types of things that you don't like about yourself. Like if you react certain way when you hear certain things, or if you're around certain people when you feel certain ways. Okay? Just write down the things, the positive and the negatives about yourself, and the pros and the cons about yourself. Okay? And then that'll help you communicate. That'll help you communicate with yourself on a more critical side of things, so that you can actually take the parts of yourself and get to know more of your higher and more of your lower self. Okay? So you can know what you really need in your life, or what you really want in your life, and if you really need what you want or not. Okay? Now, the second thing I want to talk about is self-talk. Okay? Self-talk is very important. I know that a lot of people, for some reason, I know the reason, because we're disconnected from nature and from ourselves, that when they see people talking to themselves or hear people talking to themselves in another room, then they think they're crazy because they're talking to themselves. It doesn't make sense to me, but they think you're crazy because there's not another person in there. But there is another person in there. It's yourself. Okay? Everything is yourself. So because when you're the way to prove this is because when you're thinking something, okay, when you're thinking something, you're hearing it as you think it. So that means there's two things going on here. You're projecting something, okay? You're projecting a thought. There's 2 points of reference that you're projecting a thought, okay, which is a subconscious mind. Then you're receiving a thought, or receiving the impulses, or receiving the simulation of hearing your own thought, which means that's two beings, which means you're actually everything. Yourself is actually all things happening at once, okay? It gets deeper than this, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to just keep it simple, okay? You have yourself and yourself. And so you need to communicate with yourself as much as possible, okay? Whether it's in the mind or whether it's literally talking to yourself. And I urge people to literally talk to themselves, because eventually, because some people don't know, most people, they don't think clearly, okay? You don't actually think clearly. What? Mm-mm. They don't think really clearly, and hold on, what? Him to me. What? But I urge you to talk to yourself, okay? Because most people that's like emotional based, or don't really, do it, or don't know about subconscious programming, they think of things, but they don't think them. They don't think of things how they actually want to think of them. So self-talk, or actually talking to yourself out loud, will begin to train your brain to reciprocate information with itself more thoroughly and more clearly, okay? Because what you're doing is you're actually formulating a system of communication between your left and right hemispheres of your brain by actually speaking outside of yourself and talking back to yourself, okay? Because sometimes, okay, to put it even more simply, sometimes you say things, sometimes people say things, not everyone, but sometimes people say things and it doesn't even make sense to them. I know some people have, some people can relate to this. It doesn't even make sense to them. And that's because there's a breach inside of the system of your own mind of how you're thinking, of what types of thoughts you're thinking and how frequently you think them. Okay, so to do this, it calls for constant critiquing through actually talking to yourself, from knowing what you actually want to say and actually making yourself say what you actually want to say, instead of saying something that really didn't make sense, but like in the back of your head, I have like some type of sense of what I really want to get out, but for some reason I can't formulate it into actual words. So it'll help you formulate your thoughts into actual words, and then that'll activate your left brain and push you to think more logically and have a more concentrated system of thinking. Now, all of this deals with having a relationship with yourself, because you must have a relationship with yourself before you have a relationship with another person, okay, or with somebody that you perceive as another outside of you. So take in this information, share if you care. I love myself. Peace. Peace.